Okay, that's better. All right, everybody, thank you for joining us on Rockland AM Rockland's News. I'm one of your hosts, Tom Osa.
And I'm the other one, Mike Kluger. And we are here, and we're going to talk about news. We're going to talk about everything we love about Rockland County. And soon, I hear Mike Lawler, Congressman Mike Lawler will be coming to interview Mike and Tom.
That's right. He's going to be on at 8:45 a.m. And in about 10 minutes, we're going to have our friend Hope Wade from Hope Wade Designs. We got Rockland Fashion Week coming up. So it's an action-packed show. Let's give you the weather really quick. Right now, it's 56 degrees and mostly sunny. Today, it's going to be a high of 65 degrees. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, all partly cloudy, 60, 62, 59. And you're going to finish up the weekend, 57 degrees on Sunday, partly cloudy. Mike, I am really excited about this show today.
Yeah.
Mainly because I think that, and let me just make sure
that because we have hope.
Where the hell is the damn panel? The AZ panel. There it is. Okay. There we go. All right.
Tom's excited. So excited he got himself frazzled this morning.
We definitely have to fix the loudness of that news. And that is something I know those of you that are listening, and thank you for listening to Rockland's News. We have been working on this for 5+ years. We're having a blast with it sometimes, but we appreciate you tuning in.
Sometimes it's blasting us.
Yeah, and thank you because we're learning as we go along. So like the music being too loud. Definitely, we heard some feedback. That's got to be fixed. And Mike, we got a new podcast board coming in.
We do. You ordered it?
I ordered it.
Nice.
Yeah, so that should be ready to go.
But folks, as far as blasts, blast us with some information. Tell us what you think at, what's our email?
news@rocklandsnews.com.
Thank you, Tom.
That's
because
right.
we want to hear from you. We want to hear feedback. We want to hear your questions. We want to hear what you would like us to explore here on the news.
Exactly. Yeah. So, and rocklandsnews.com for all the news that matters to you most. We have a variety of topics that we're going to bring up today. First, we want to thank our sponsors, Yabu Fence Company, Dana Pest Control, Easy Temp, located in Hackensack, New York, for air conditioning, heating, and cooling needs. Kobe Sushi with their new music lounge, jazz on Wednesdays and Saturdays. 202 Cannabis in Garnerville, New York. It is the first drive-through dispensary in Rockland, Mike.
That's awesome.
Now, I don't know about this cannabis. Gosh darn it, but
saying.
I'm
it's going to save the world.
I'm looking at it from an intellectual standpoint.
Hempcrete? Have you heard about this hempcrete stuff?
What's hempcrete?
We'll talk about that after you're done with this. All right.
Susan Bova, Coldwell Banker Realty, and she's got a large amount of inventory that she's looking to set up so that really cool residents can buy houses in Rockland County. That's Susan Bova from Coldwell Banker Realty.
What if you're not so cool and you still need a place to live?
Well, then you go to me because I don't have a real estate license.
Oh, so the uncool people go to Tom. The cool people go to Susan Bova.
Yes. Well, actually, I'm not going to. I can't sell a house. I would basically refer them to one of our two awesome realtors, Susan Bova from Coldwell Banker Realty. Also, Lauren Molino Muller from Howard Hanna Rand Realty. Yeah, exactly. Whole Shot Bagels. We love Whole Shot. They're on Route 9W in Haverstraw.
Oh, yeah.
99 signs. A business without a sign is a sign with no business.
Right.
I didn't come up with it. I think that's an awesome slogan.
Okay.
All right. Workforce Development Board of Rockland County. That's rocklandworks.org. If you're looking for employment, job training, and the services are, I believe, free. How about that?
Your taxes at work.
Yep. And of course, we had Rockland Music Fest several weeks ago. The streaming TV app is launched. You can download it on Roku right now. Just search for Rockland Music Fest on Roku. And we also have a YouTube playlist of all the performances, including Magical Mystery Doors.
Awesome.
Amazing time, man. Fiesta Acapulco, our friends over here. FZ Perfection, Clean Space Maintenance Management Company, Ivy Rehab Physical Therapy, St. Thomas Aquinas, and Sparkling Clean Homes.
All right.
Yeah. Should we read the news?
We should read some news.
All right. So,
Tommy, what's going on?
Well, I'm going
to quote Lost Boys, Michael wants to know what's going on.
All right. Well, I'm handing Mike the tablet because we're going to go back and forth and everything.
I'll give you one piece of news that happened on Friday.
Yeah, tell me.
North Rockland high school football trounced Suffern.
Oh, nice.
I mean, we are living here in North Rockland. My children, who are Suffern residents, felt a little sad as the North Rockland Raiders beat the Suffern Mounties 40-6.
Yeah, and I lived in Suffern for a little while, so my heart is a bit split. But I lived in North Rockland more, so
yeah, I was born, bred, and raised here. So in Stony Point, there was a water main break in Stony Point, sending water 30 feet in the air.
Yep.
The dramatic water main break on Church Street, near Church and Orchard, in Stony Point, caused the water to shoot 30 feet into the air during a replacement project. Concerned residents questioned the qualifications of the workers and lack of the prior notification to schools, transportation, or first responders. Supervisor Jim Monahan issued a statement confirming a release valve was struck during the project. The valve has since been replaced and the work is ongoing. Viola was notified, and approximately 2,000 residents in the area via the emergency alerts. And if you have not signed up for the emergency alerts, I do recommend it. This way you know what's going on in your neighborhood.
Absolutely.
The James A. Farley Memorial Bridge, the one in Stony Point that has been, not closed, but
One Direction.
One Direction.
Like the band?
Yeah, I like that band. Yeah. Well, it has officially reopened in both directions, ending the detour through Lowland Hill and around by the river. The Champlain Hudson Power Express, otherwise known as Chippy, confirmed the reopening on October 20th, following safety clearance by both the DOT and independent engineers. While night construction on Route 9W continues, Chippy plans to complete all cable work on private property by the year's end. Benefits to the region include $31 million versus Rockland Community Benefit Fund, $295 million in projected tax revenue over 30 years, and dedicated support to local schools, including $2 million towards a full day kindergarten. However, we do know, that Congressman Mike Lawler is working tirelessly to help the economic crisis that this has caused.
Correct, sir. Yeah. And we're going to have Mike Lawler on the show at 8:45 a.m. today. We're going to have Hope Wade on at 8:30. So, fashion and then
so some fun, and then we talk about the business.
Yeah. And there's some other stuff that happened. We're going to get into a little bit of it. In Nanuet, I have to bring this up, and Mike, you and I, we talked beforehand. I was like, I'm kind of feeling like the vibe that's developing between us is like old school Curtis and Kubi in the morning.
Okay.
Like Kubi, you would represent Kubi-ish because he's a
I'm
lawyer. Or you're Kubi-ish, yeah.
We've invented a new word, folks.
Yeah, and he's a lawyer and insightful and just a really cool dude. And Curtis is a little bit on the right, so I'd play Curtis, I guess.
Okay.
But we go back and forth, and and I think we get along pretty well like that. But I have to bring this up as Curtis. All right, thousands rallied at the No Kings protest in Nanuet. No. All right, I'll stop. I'm sorry. See, and this is where you balance me out.
Everyone is entitled to their opinion.
They are,
and we are entitled to protest.
Yes.
It is in our Constitution and in the Bill of Rights.
That is very true.
So if we are being constitutionalists about things, then if you have something to say and it was peaceful and clean, I'm all for it.
I'm all for it too. Are we allowed to make fun of it a little bit just based on the name? Because like my grandfather moved me and my mom up from Astoria in 1982. So that's like the No Queens rally. Like that.
My family is from Kings County.
Okay. So that's a county.
Well, I can tell you this, that all of those protests did send some sort of vibe throughout the planet because there are 20 plus other countries deciding to do rallies just like that. Okay. Because, even
that's interesting because there is, and it's been reported, there's been an upsurge of authoritarian government figures across the world.
Correct.
Okay.
And we, the people, not just of Rockland, New York, the world, the people are tired of it. Right. We all want to have our individual lives not messed with by someone who doesn't care about us.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. And that's where, and I'm going to read the news on this. So more than 3,000 demonstrators gathered at the intersection of Route 59 and Middletown Road in Nanuet, joining a nationwide protest movement dubbed No Kings. Participants, ranging from toddlers to the elderly, carried signs protesting threats to democracy and First Amendment rights, with some humorously criticizing the current president's policies. The spirited yet peaceful crowd, good, stretched along Route 59, reflecting concerns over America's political crossroads. And that news item was available on Rockland County Business Journal.
Okay.
All right. So being fair. All right. I'm checking my tone. Because that's not easy for me.
Regardless of what you feel, Tom.
Yes.
The people have the right. Because how many did you say there was? 2,000?
There was 3,000.
3,000.
I mean, that's a sizable.
How many people are there in Rockland County?
337,000.
So it is a small percentage, but it is a voice.
0.03%. Or 1%.
When we say, well, what can we do? Well, this is one of the things you can do. You can show up.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
As long as you are being peaceful, clean, and orderly, please come, gather, and say what you got to say.
Yeah. No diggity doubt, man.
Right? I don't care what side you're on. If there's only two choices, which I don't believe that there is.
Oh yeah, well, I mean I'm a big fan of that. I mean, even in Stephen Covey's book, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective. Oh, Mike, I got us more coffee for today, by the way.
Excellent.
There's like a whole pot of it.
We're gonna be like jazzed, guys.
That's where it's
Jazz
at.
hands.
But in that book, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, he talked about the third alternative.
Well, if there should be a third, a fourth, a fifth, a sixth alternative.
Yeah.
Right?
The problem is when you have so many alternatives. It's like when you walk into the supermarket, right? Spoiled with choice. Bingo. So, I think at least from time to time, the choices, all right, and I got to toe lightly on this, the choices need to be curated,
Yes.
and you can't just have one choice because that becomes a monopoly, and that's no good.
And what we've been seeing is if you only get two choices, the two choices tend to play one off the other.
Yeah.
And the people tend to lose.
Yeah, that's very true. I'm just texting Hope Wade right now.
Because we should have Hope on our show now.
She is. She will be on the show in a few minutes. We got Rockland Fashion Week coming up. Let me just take a look. Hope Wade Designs is going to present the 6th annual Rockland Fashion Week, culminating with a gala runway show on November 8th at the Palisade Center in West Nyack. With 12 designers, musical acts, and student involvement from Clarkstown North, the week showcases local talent. And events begin with a launch party at Hotel Nyack and pop-up shops downtown.
Awesome.
Tickets are on sale. You go to rocklandfashionweek.com. And you are good to go. I think it's like $25 per ticket.
Okay.
Worth it.
Okay.
And I'm not even into fashion. I mean, look at me. I look like a schmo.
I'm wearing a New York Renaissance Festival t-shirt.
You are wearing a New York Renaissance Fair t-shirt.
I am not fashionable either, unless we're talking about the fashion of the 1500s.
How was the Renaissance Fair this year?
It was busy.
Yeah.
Busy. And it seemed like everyone had a good time. The fair was full a lot, and they came and they bought the stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw people drinking, eating, laughing. The shows were great.
Yeah.
I would recommend going to the Renaissance Fair all the time, except it doesn't happen all the time. But what is happening is Rockland Fashion Week. So
exactly. And I just got a message from Hope. Oh, there she is. Okay, so hang on. We're going to bring in our friend Hope Wade from Rockland Fashion Week. Everybody, one moment, please. Hey, Hope, how are you?
I'm good, yourself.
Okay, good. Let me. We're just doing the. Yeah. Okay. I just want to make sure because, when we do this in the morning, we give people the time to just acclimate before 9 o'clock. So it's just an audio only show. How you doing today, Hope?
I'm good. I'm good.
All right, awesome. So we have Mike Kluger, my co-host, on, and we're on
Good morning.
AM
Hi,
Rock.
Mike. How are you?
Doing well.
Yeah.
Good to hear that.
Let me also bring the panel up because I created one for you, Hope.
Okay.
And
Da-da-da.
there she is. All right.
Hey, all right. We take that.
I picked that up from the website. I believe it's rocklandfashionweek.com.
You know what? You should probably use one with the blonde hair because that's how people recognize me.
All right. Yeah, I got to bring that up on the screen. Hang on 1 minute. I'm actually going to.
Well, while you're doing that, Tom.
Yeah, go ahead.
Hope, why don't you tell us how you got into fashion?
Well, okay, so it's a little circuitous story, but originally what happened was I mean, I've always liked fashion, but my older brother was the one who actually did like printing of T-shirts, and he made clothing for the football teams in Jamaica, West Indies, where we're from. But anyway, so I went to college and I did graphic design and photography, and I got this job. I went to Cooper Union, and because I went to Cooper, that's how I ended up getting this particular job. So I was there for like about 2 years, and I went to Chicago. The company sent me to Chicago to do a trade show, and it was very successful. So the president asked my boss to train me in that direction, and then after 3 months, he called me in his office and he was like, "The house I live in and the car I drive, they're all from the company, and I think they're grooming you for my job. You're fired." So I was like, "What?" But I was a kind of feisty little personality. I was not gonna beg for the job.
Yeah.
So I was doing a little freelance, and the church I attended at the time, which is Redeeming Love Christian Center in Nanuet, they had a big New Year's Eve event, and so they announced that we all had to dress formally.
Right.
So I was like, well, I just bought a car right before I lost my job, and so I didn't have money. I was unemployment, so I decided to make something for myself, and I never really sewn
Yes.
before. But my mom, when I came here first, to United States, I was a foreign student, so my mom used to visit me once a year for about 2 3 months, and she had a machine, sewing machine, and so she just left it, and then whenever she came back, she would just sew whatever. So I was desperate, and
Oh, did we lose her?
Hope that that's all right.
I think we lost you just for a second. Could you say that last thing one more time?
Oh yeah, so my mom, she came to visit me once a year for about 3 months, and so she had a sewing machine, and so I called her and I was desperate, like, look, please to tell me how to use this machine. And she guided me on the phone. So I made this little piece. And when I went to the event, my girlfriends were like, I said, I thought you said you weren't gonna buy a dress. I said, no, I made this. But they didn't believe me. So I had to go in the bathroom and show them the dress inside out, which was horrible. And then because I was a graphic designer, so I could actually cut a straight line, but the sewing was really awful. And then they started ordering clothing from me, and that's literally how the business started.
That's amazing. And I can relate to that, I was canned in 2007 from an IT company, and it was because I got the guy the wrong sandwich for lunch. It was a toxic environment. And I went home. I had a little bit of a mini nervous breakdown, crying in my pillow. I was like, what am I going to do? And then I just moment of clarity. I was like, you know what? I'm just going to start my own thing. So I applaud the people that make that jump. It's so scary, right?
It's scary. It is very scary. It really is. It really is.
So why Rockland County? Of all you didn't start from here. So what brought you to Rockland County? Why do you choose to do this show here and help our fellow Rockland County folk?
Okay, so my pastor's wife always tells me Hope always has a story. But anyway, why Rockland County? When I was going to church, I was living in the Bronx, and then one of my friends told me about. Actually, my cousin told me about Redeeming Love Christian Center. So we started coming to this church.
Oh yeah, Nanuet.
Yes, in Nanuet. They're right across from the old Red Lobster.
Yes.
So I was really enjoying the church, and then one day they announced that they were gonna form a school, And based on the principles, it reminded me of the prep school I went to in Jamaica, which was a vast prep school. So my sister, at the time, her daughter was about like 6, and I encouraged her. I said, "You have to send her to this church school. You have to." And she's like, "No, I don't want to send my daughter to a church school. They don't have the same standards." I said, "Listen, I'm telling you, you gotta do it." Anyway, so it turned out that I was the one end up having to take her to school every morning from the Bronx, which was quite harrowing. Anyway, so
Imagine,
we
yeah.
end up having to move to Rockland because Hannah enjoyed the school. It was just too much. Can you imagine me commuting like 45 minutes every morning for 5 days straight, and then I had to pick her up
Yep.
because it was just crazy. So we ended up moving to Spring Valley. So that's how I actually came to Rockland. And then after a couple of years, I got married and we live in Pomona now. But now you already know the backstory how I became a designer. So I was in okay, so I had to go to Jamaica for a funeral, and my friend, both of us were going to the funeral. So where we were gonna stay, she was gonna go in the day before me. So when I got to the airport, she picked me up and she was telling me that the night before she went to this restaurant, and then she mentioned this person's name, and I go, hold a minute, isn't that guy? He owns Pulse. He owns Caribbean Fashion Week. And she said, yes, one of our mutual friends knows him very well. She models for him. And I was like, oh, okay. So can somebody introduce me to him? Because, I have my fashions. I think I'm just about ready to, to show the world what I have. And so my friend called him, and so we ended up getting he got some of my stuff. So now I did Carbon Fashion Week. And when I did Carbon Fashion Week the first time, it was a really explosive moment for my career
Uh-huh.
because it meant I was in Vogue magazine, SN, all these magazines. I was on the front cover of a couple of like national newspapers and stuff. And then I did a show about 4 times. And then I did London Fashion Week. And I was like, you know what? Rockland County has like a bevy of talent.
There really does. I completely agree with you. You're in the fashion world.
Yes.
You have a very diverse population.
Yeah.
Yes.
And you
And
can
so
choose
I
from a
was
lot of different
like,
cultures.
Yeah, and
yeah,
I'm just throwing this in there. Like, I like to live in the music world where there's so much talent. So you and
yes,
I think we all agree there's so much talent in Rockland.
Deep pool.
it is.
Well,
There's
tell us
so much
about your show
talent.
coming up.
So I was like, okay, fine. I have to do it. So now what pushed me to do it was no, okay, so all right, so I'm an artist.
Uh,
So I don't like to write everything down, but it was so heavy on my heart that I actually sat up like for 2 days straight and I just wrote out everything I thought the event should be. And encapsulate the people I wanted, the designers, even possibly giving a scholarship to an up and coming designer,
right.
makeup artists, all that stuff. And so now it was birth as far as I was concerned. Once I had it written down, it was birth. And then about maybe like, I don't know, 2 years later, so this guy wanted to do he wanted to be my PR person.
Right.
So but he lived in Canada, and I'm like, Canada and New York, like it's too far. And he was like, Hope, it's a matter of internet. But then he said something to me that triggered everything. He said, "Oh, by the way," he was talking to somebody, and she has a magazine, and he's a fashion magazine, and he said she mentioned like, Rockland has so much talent. How come nobody's doing any big fashion shows here? And I go, oh my gosh, let me just jump on my idea before she gets it, because she doesn't even live in Rockland. So that was actually propelled me to actually push it. And the first time we did the show was at Patriot Hills, and I put the show together in less than 6 weeks, and it was totally
Quick.
sold out.
Right.
So that means that there are people there who really want to see a show like this. And we had 4 designers, 5 designers, including myself. It was very, very, very successful. And then the Palisade Center actually got in contact with me. I didn't see their I didn't see their contact for about maybe a month. I
Hmm.
was like, what? I can't believe I missed this. Maybe I missed the opportunity, but it turned out that it was still good. And so they've been hosting the show ever since. But that's basically how Rock and Fashion Week actually started.
Yeah.
So it was, I mean, there's so many talented people in Rockland. You can't believe it. And last year, Darlene Love, the rock and roll icon, she actually walked the show. I mean, to a great applause.
Right.
Everybody's so excited to see her. Yeah.
And
So
we
that was
have,
good.
if you go to rocklandfashionweek.com, that's the place where you can go and buy tickets. But also, you have hopewadedesigns.com. And there's a lot of videos and images from the previous fashion weeks. Hope, how many times have you done this before? Was it 3 or 4? You've done it several.
No, this is going to be our 6th year.
Your 6th year. I'm
year.
very sorry about that.
Yes, that's fine. Hey, that's fine.
We had one of our reporters there for the one in 2024. It was fantastic.
Hope, tell us about what we're going to see in this show, a little preview that we can't see on the website, like a little, tell us a little teaser.
Yes.
Okay, all right. So one of the things that we're noted for is our inclusiveness, meaning that we have a model who's autistic. We had a model last year who had Down syndrome. We had a model who had was legally blind. So when you think of a fashion show, it's a very, very high quality show. And we have very, very experienced models, but we also want to be inclusive, that because everybody wears fashion. I don't care if you sit in a wheelchair or you sit in the White House. Everybody wears fashion. So it's good to see your size, because we have all sizes on the show. But what's going to be exciting this year is this year we're going to have someone who's going to be doing complete retro that we haven't really had before. I had it one time in a small package, but she's coming up with retro. And then also the theme this year is fashion through the ages. So we have someone who's coming some 80s, 90s style that people actually do enjoy, because everybody likes to look back a little bit. So, and then we're gonna have an entertainer from VP Records. We'll hold that as a secret. But of course, we're gonna have our VIP package. So if you buy a VIP ticket, you will be eating at the beautiful Carlitos Tequila hotel, not hotel, restaurant on the 4th floor. And of course, you get a nice swag bag. Everybody loves our swag bag. It's not just one thing, it's always a few items inside of it that's actually usable. But and then we have children who will be modeling also. So it's gonna be a great show. It's exciting. Of course, Q Talks, she's there pumping up the crowd. If you've been to the show, at some point the audience gets up to dance. So it's a very inclusive event.
That's great.
Exciting.
Yeah. When is the show again?
It's Saturday, November 8th at 5:30 to 8:30. Now,
Saturday, November 8th at 5:30. Where?
As at the Palisades Century Mall, is right in front of H&M. It's corner now with the H&M, and so people on all tiers, but the actual seating is on the 1st floor, right in front of H&M.
That's great. Tickets are just $25 a pop, and again, you can go to rocklandfashionweek.com. You could also go to Hope's website at hopewadedesigns.com. And we're going to have you back on the show. I hope, if this is okay, we're going to try and have you back on the show before one more time. And then
that'd be great. That'd be great.
Tell us about it, some more.
Wait, hold on. The tickets are a little bit more. They're $39 and up.
I'm very sorry. Yeah.
That's okay. No. But there's a 25% off going on right now. It's going to be on for about a week before we take it off.
Oh,
and
okay.
So people have been trying to scuffle to get that price.
Go check it out.
Yes.
See what's going on in the fashion world today.
All right.
Yes, and I gotta say thank you to Rockland Tourism for their grant for advertising the show. And Hotel Nyack, I gotta give them the shout out, the Palisades Mall. I gotta be grateful.
Oh, totally. Absolutely. Hey, God is good.
Yes, God is good. I'm so appreciative. And guys, thank you so very much for hosting me. I appreciate it very much.
Our pleasure, Hope. And we'll see you again on Rockland's News. Again, Hope Wade from Hope Wade Fashions. Check out rocklandfashionweek.com.
November 8th.
November 8th, hopewadedesigns.com, rocklandfashionweek.com. And we're on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, you name it. Well, X. Yes.
Beautiful. All right. Well, we'll see you again.
Okay, great. Thank you guys so much.
You're welcome.
Okay, bye-bye.
All right. So that was Hope Wade, Rockland Fashion Week. And we have another guest that is coming into the room in a few moments, Mike. This is an interview that I haven't had the chance of doing before. We have Congressman Mike Lawler that is going to be here.
All right. So of all the politicians that you've interviewed,
yes,
is this the highest ranking one?
No. I once interviewed the guitarist for Grand Funk Railroad. That's Todd Howarth. The dude is very cool. So, and I'm not saying that Congressman Mike Lawler is. Listen, I don't.
Does he even shred?
I look at people as people. People's, like the Muppets.
But does Mike Lawler play guitar?
People, I don't know. You're gonna break a tom today, aren't you?
Isn't that my job to break the tom?
Okay, no, it just happens, right? Okay. Well, no, it's not your job, but for some reason that you are able to do that on an often basis, which I appreciate very much.
So
yeah,
we have
Congressman Mike Lawler, New York 17th District. Congressman, let me and you're actually just going to be on audio today, so no need to be on video. But Congressman, thank you very much for being here on AM Rockland News today.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Okay, and I know you're traveling back and forth to Washington on an oft basis. Just to give you those that are listening, the area where Congressman Lawler serves us is not just Rockland County, but it's there's several different areas. I believe it's parts of Upper Westchester, Putnam, if I'm correct about that.
I have all of Rockland County, all of Putnam County, and the northern part of Westchester, and 3 towns in Dutchess County on the southern portion.
So basically the lower Hudson Valley.
Correct.
And are you from Rockland County originally? Are you a homegrown?
Yep, born and raised, born at Good Sam, grew up in Nanuet till I was 12, and then went to moved to Suffern, graduated Suffern High School, and now my wife and I live in Pearl River with our 2 daughters.
Okay, all right. So regardless of opinions, left, right, you got a finger on the pulse of what's going on in Rockland, obviously.
And folks, this is our neighbor.
Yeah,
no question. My family's been in Rockland, at least parts of it, for over 100 years. So very, very well acquainted with Rockland County.
Well, we have a few topics that we wanted to ask you about, and hopefully you could provide some insight. And the first one that we wanted to broach was the topic of the pipeline, the transmission pipeline that's going through Rockland County at the moment. As you know, and you were at a press conference approximately 2 weeks ago in Stony Point, especially focusing on the reopening of the James A. Farley Bridge. And also, as a result of the construction, daytime, nighttime, it's caused a considerable amount of business revenue loss along the 9W corridor, the retailers. So are there any updates that you can provide us? I know that you were putting some pressure, especially on New York State, to make sure that everything moves along more expediently. Any updates since the last time?
Well, we had that press conference about 2 weeks ago, and we have a scheduled call with the folks at Chippy as well as investors on the project to try and address the impacts on the small businesses. The North Rockland Chamber of Commerce, estimates that the businesses have lost roughly $10 million in revenue as a result of the construction. Residents have been severely impacted, especially, overnight, with construction in residential areas impacted. Obviously, the traffic has been a disaster. We were happy to see that the bridge reopened to 2-way traffic on Monday evening, which, certainly is a step in the right direction. This project, is slated to be completed in November. With respect to Stony Point and Havstraw. And so, we're hopeful it will obviously, conclude on time so that the impact on the businesses are minimized. But I think more needs to be done. And it's why I called on the governor to declare an economic state of emergency and for Chippy to step up and do more with respect to supporting the local businesses that were impacted. The future tax revenue is great for the municipality, but that doesn't, absolve them of the impact on the businesses. And this was poorly planned by the state. The transmission line was supposed to run down the Hudson. Obviously, the sturgeon is what impacted it and forced it to come out of the river. And so, then they were going to run it along the train line, but CSX said they wanted the potential to build a second, rail, a second track. And so then it got moved up to 9W, and it just, this was not well executed, frankly, by the state or by Chippy in terms of, the planning and the impacts that it had on the residents.
If you could give us some insight, and obviously, you sit in Congress. So, on the New York State legislative side, I mean, there's similarities, of course, by the process. Where does I read a book once called The Failure of Logic. And I found it to be insightful because it's, people, let's just say for a moment, well-meaning, right? Where does the process fail from your perspective? Because, moving the pipeline, obviously there was a concern about the sturgeon, yes. And also CSX, they had the rights to decide whether they wanted a second line or not. But once it gets onto Route 9W, was there any forethought about how it would affect the businesses, or was it just, all right, we're going to take a chance? Was it a random, or was it, planned and just say, okay, we're just going to have to do this?
Clearly not. And, again, I think there's a failure to adequately plan. There was a failure to include all the necessary stakeholders, running this 24 hours a day, basically, impacting residents at night. I mean, I met one woman who, is a landlord. She lost multiple tenants because of the construction right outside and the impact it was having on the people living there. And so she's lost significant revenue that she relied on to live, to pay her taxes, et cetera. And it's outrageous. There just really was not foresight by the state or Chippy in terms of dealing with the tremendous impacts that, were brought against the residents and the small businesses.
At this point, how many small businesses have had to close because of Chippy and the traffic?
I don't have an exact number on any that have closed, but they've been severely economically impacted. And you're talking about hundreds of businesses along the 9W corridor. And, it's just, again, it's more should have been done in advance to bring the stakeholders into this, dealing with some of the traffic pattern issues, and the state just failed to do that, along with obviously Chippy and those in charge of the project.
The people that you're putting pressure on, are they being very resistant, or is everything just being very reactionary? Now, I didn't realize it, so let's do something.
Well, I think, they're the general view is that they've done a lot to support the municipalities, locally, in terms of finances and contributions towards, community projects, et cetera, and obviously the long-term tax revenue. But they truly did not take into account the impact on the businesses. And so that's what we're pushing for. They previously increased a pot of money to help the small businesses, but it's nowhere near enough. It was $150,000. So, there needs to be more done. And so we're having that conversation to see what we can do to support the businesses. Like I said, I'm glad that the bridge was reopened. That was a positive step forward.
Yeah.
And so that at least alleviates some of the traffic problems, especially going into the residential neighborhoods. So we'll keep the pressure on.
Yeah, and for those businesses that have been affected, the North Rockland Chamber of Commerce, as Congressman Lawler had mentioned, is integral to this process at the moment. For those of the businesses that are affected, you can go to northrocklandchamber.org. There's a retail rescue form on there. A few questions just asking, what sort of loss have you encountered? You do have to have your 2024 and 2025 tax returns. And basically, it's part of the data gathering process. Congressman, we also wanted to talk about local residential housing trends that are happening in the area. Now, back in August, you had a bill that was introduced, the Revitalizing America's Housing Act, and construction regulations, kind of creating more of an open market. It seems, from what I'm reading here. Could you tell a little bit about the act itself and what the process is next for getting this act passed if it hasn't already?
Well, there's no question one of the biggest issues impacting the country is affordability. And when you look at the cost of living, housing is one of the biggest challenges people face, whether it's home ownership or rent. And we've seen over the last, decade, housing prices and the rental market have skyrocketed, but especially in the last few years with, high levels of inflation, raising mortgage costs. You see utility rates skyrocketing because of the state's draconian energy policies. And it's created a real challenge for folks. And when you look at it nationwide, we're 7.5 million units underbuilt nationwide, based on our population, based on the need. Obviously in the state, we have significant challenges with housing. And if you look at Rockland County, the average home value went from 400,000 pre-COVID to 700,000 today, right, and growing. And it's only getting higher. And, if you're selling, that's great. If you're buying, it's not. And, obviously, it's very difficult for people to afford to live in our area. It's one of the highest property taxed areas in the country. It's why I fought so hard to lift the cap on SALT and provide real meaningful tax relief. 90% of my constituents will be able to fully deduct their state and local taxes next year when they file their federal income tax returns, which is a big win for us. In addition, in the tax bill, we had an expansion of the low-income housing tax credit, which will help build over 1 million new units of housing over the next decade. But there's a challenge, and so to me, it's a question of how we deal with this realistically, what the federal government can do, how we make sure that there's more access to capital to build housing. We want to streamline regulations, especially environmental regs, which oftentimes impede the ability to build housing. And, obviously we want to respect local control of zoning. I've always believed in that. We know how important that is in Rockland County. Yeah. And I support it. But at the same token, you have to build housing. You can't build nothing. And so the question becomes, how do we incentivize municipalities? How do we incentivize states? How do we work to build the appropriate infrastructure? What works in New York City does not work in Rockland County. And so, you can't have a one size fits all. Some of the provisions within my bill focus on modular housing and manufactured housing, and how we cut the regulations that have prevented that. It's a much more affordable way to build housing, manufactured housing. So that's something that can help. Opportunity zones, I want to expand those out to include ordinary income, because most people who own a multifamily housing unit are mom and pop. They're not corporate America. They're not operating in capital gains. They're purchasing the home based on ordinary income. And so we want to expand that out in opportunity zones to create more housing, obviously low income housing, affordable housing, workforce housing. So there's a lot that needs to be done. And so my bill's a pretty comprehensive one to look at ways for the federal government to help incentivize states and localities to build more housing, to work with developers without taking away local control, but helping to work to make sure that the impediments to housing are not so burdensome that what it's doing is A, limiting the number of units built, but B, jacking up the cost, which makes it unaffordable for everybody.
Of course. And before I ask the last question, what's the current status of the bill? Where is it currently?
The bill's in the Housing Committee, and we're working through it. I've been advocating with the administration to really focus in on housing. Obviously, President Trump has a long history in the construction and real estate industry, and certainly understands these issues. And I think, this is an area where if we want to tackle affordability, we really need to focus on.
Certainly. Final question. There's been an ongoing battle, it seems, for decades between Rockland County and the MTA. And Mike knows. I mean, we commuted into the city back and forth. We do not have single seat travel into New York City. We used to have 18 train lines. Now we're down to 5. We have Rockland Alternatives to Driving Locally, advocating for better transportation in and out. County Executive Day often mentions that there's a value gap of about $40 million between the services versus what Rocklanders get taxed. Do you have any insight or update on what's next? I mean, the battle will continue, and I think eventually we're going to get there. But yeah, we're just searching for them answers.
Look, the MTA is the worst run authority in America. It carries more debt than 80% of the states in the country. It's an abject disaster. And Kathy Hochul's latest, funding scheme to tax commuters who are traveling into New York by no fault of their own because they don't have a one-seat ride, charging people $5,000 on an annual basis just for the privilege of going to work. It's outrageous. And the MTA continues to lose $700+ million a year.
That's awful.
On people who jump the turnstiles and don't pay to ride the subway system, but yet we're forced to pay for this broken authority. And so, there's real challenges. Obviously the Gateway Tunnel project is critical. I support it. I'm pushing back against, the administration's position to cut the funding at this moment. It's also why it's so stupid that Chuck Schumer shut the government down. It has a direct impact on our state, on our community. Open the government up so we can get back to work and do the things we need to do, including making sure that Gateway gets funded.
Indeed. Well, Congressman Lawler, New York 17th Congressional District, thank you for being on AM Rockland's News this morning. We look forward to having you on the show again.
I appreciate it. Thanks so much.
All right. Safe travels.
Have a good morning.
Yep, you too.
All right. So that was Congressman Mike Lawler, ladies and gentlemen. And yeah, very insightful. It's the first time that we had him on the show. So it's very interesting.
Those are some heavy things to tackle. Let me tell you, I do not envy his position or his job.
I do not envy any elected official's position. Like, in all seriousness, left, right. Okay. Like, how do you, there's at least, a third to a half of the population of any elected official's office. They're not going to like you. I would be crying like in a corner, like if 1/3 of the people, well, actually 2/3 of the people that I know don't like me.
Well,
it's
that's
just
why
less.
You're crying.
It's just less.
That's why you're crying.
Yeah.
I mean,
So listen, I mean, look, it's a job that I don't know how to do as an elected official, but that's, and keeping up with those
many
details.
other moving pieces, right? So Congressman Lawler was talking about housing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Except not that should be discounted, but the housing also goes along with the economic crisis.
Of
right?
course, yeah.
So what do we in Rocklands? Why would we build housing if we're losing jobs and businesses?
Mm-hmm.
Now, how are we going to get those jobs and businesses back? And I would speculate that someone of his position might direct it back down to Rockland County and say, well, that's Rockland County's job to figure out Rockland County's thing.
Oh, without a doubt.
Right.
And that's where it's like, the bucket gets kicked.
Right. And eventually it's like, all right, so who's responsible for this and how are we fixing it?
Yeah.
And I haven't heard any of that other than there's not enough money.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not even understanding, like, I know that the Chamber of Commerce is trying to gather up all the information. Are the people who are applying for or submitting the data, is it possible for them to get paid for this mess?
It's possible.
Like our dear friend Rocky Alexander over there at Rock's Kitchen.
Yeah, Rock's Kitchen.
Now, I heard a rumor, and I would like someone to tell me this isn't true, that Rock's actually closed.
When?
When did I hear it? I heard yesterday.
I don't believe so. I mean, over the weekend I saw that Rocky Post is like, shocker, construction, the traffic is open and we're here. So.
And this is why on the air, I want to make sure that the rumor is debunked. Rock's Kitchen is open. Is that true?
Yeah.
All right. So everybody go visit
closed.
Rocky.
Yeah, go visit Rocky. Did you just like drum up business? Like, what did you just do there? Like,
no, seriously.
Did you do that
a
on
friend
purpose?
of mine yesterday was like, she moved to the Bronx.
But there was really a rumor out there?
Yeah, that he closed.
No, he's open. He's
All
open.
right, good.
He's
good.
open. Yeah.
Rocky, best of luck.
Ain't no doubt about it. You know?
So anyway.
Yes.
Lawler was talking about housing.
Right.
And we have a housing crisis in Rockland, not from a place of building, but from a place of housing value.
Well, yes.
But the other thing that needs to go along with that is, what is the economic development? What are the jobs that we actually need? So what kind of houses do we need?
Well, he mentioned a few things, and yeah. I know he was on a tight schedule because I think he's got to head back to Washington.
Well, that's why we're discussing it now.
Yes,
and you can comment on our thing later.
Totally. And the thing that I tuned into the most was when he talked about modular housing. Now, modular housing is a lot different. I'm going to close the door because there's a helicopter going by. Metaphorically, that's ironic.
I mean, it could be Lawler.
It could. I don't think so.
I don't think so.
All right, it's AM Rockland News. It's not ABC News. Anyway. So
did you get us a chopper for the day?
You're gonna break a Tommy again. No. The thing that I found really interesting was he talked about modular housing. Now, modular housing is a lot different than the way that it was back in, like, for instance, like your what do I tell you? Mobile homes.
Okay.
Completely different. So, and I'm actually going to show this to you. There's a company called Boxable.
How are you going to show us on the radio?
No, I'm telling you, Mike, because I want to show you like what it looks like. So there's this company.
It's my job to describe it to you. Folks.
There's a company called Boxable, and I'm just showing this to you. I'll post the link to it.
You got a bunch of dudes and a crane, and they're putting together a bunch of pieces and panels, and it looks very much like a movie set.
A lot of hinges for these things, but they're basically putting up a house. Like, they just mobile transport the entire freaking thing, and then they just put up the house. I think that's brilliant. And you know what? Quite frankly, and we don't, how do I put this? We have the ability to maybe slightly nudge the population of the world, but we definitely don't have the ability to stop it, nor should we, in my opinion. It's, that's just what happens, right?
I mean, you do you.
So population density is going to continue over the course of time. It's just inevitable.
It will ebb and flow, as we have seen in places like Detroit and Cleveland.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Right. So these sort of modular homes, and they are modern. I mean, if you look at the way that these are designed, it's like a regular home.
It is a regular home. It's just built out of new fancy technology and construction. Yes.
Yes, sir. So
that still does not, like, you can build houses all day. Who are we building these houses for?
Right.
Who are we building these homes for? Because if you're building these modular homes and saying that we're going to house a bunch of construction workers, except all the construction other than of these homes has ceased.
Right. Completely
ceased because we're out of room.
Right.
Or our business is flat or whatever. And I'm just making things up from a place of scenario and speculation.
Right.
He talks about housing in a general term, and some of the examples that were given seem to like self-perpetuate themselves in terms of
course, I
business,
agree.
right? And it doesn't seem to actually address that the problem is actually that everything is overvalued and overinflated. Not that we need more houses. We need the houses that we have to be valued monetarily less because we value them more emotionally more.
Well, yeah, no, I'll agree with you. But all right, fundamentally, I get what you're saying, because especially as the house ages, technically speaking, it should diminish in value. But the property, like the property that it's on,
right?
Like, you go like really old school. It's like, you take the house down, but you still have the property. That's the most valuable thing. So what's the property underneath it valued? And then you tack on, like, for instance, a modular home or something like that.
Right.
And that's the part I find interesting because, when Mike was on, the other thing that he mentioned was workforce. And that's 100%. Like, for instance, and I'm not jumping into the issue, but there's a proposal in the village of Haverstraw for the old chair factory to be redeveloped as residential housing by a company called Impact.
And as far as I knew, that was greenlit and it was moving. Is that not the case?
Well, it's being held. Basically the town of Haverstraw doesn't want to provide the pilot program, payment in lieu of taxes. Yeah. So they said that the numbers are off and it's not going to actually benefit tax wise. Because the whole idea here, like, government wise, is like, tax revenue coming in, and then services out.
Right.
But the problem is that if a particular company is coming in and let's just say, for instance, according to the town, the value is not enough, then you have a value gap.
Right.
Similar to the MTA.
Right.
And that's where the big question is.
So this would be another negative value for Rockland.
Possibly.
Okay.
Possibly. I don't have the numbers in front of me, so it may be a positive, it may be a negative, just being completely objective about it.
The government of the town of Rockland believes that it is a negative gap for the town.
At the moment, yes.
Okay.
At the moment, yes. But that sort of new style housing, and it's not modular homes. It's like, it's a regular building.
This is a full-on riverfront with a massive buildings, right?
Yeah. And you just hit the nail on the head. Riverfront. So, the idea of having that's prime real estate, right? So the value of the property underneath is going to be higher.
Some might say it's prime real estate, and some might say it's really what's the word I'm looking for? It's high maintenance real estate, because that river goes up and down every few years. Everybody has to rebuild their houses because the storm goes through.
Well, I mean, Piermont's going to be underwater in 100 years.
Well, to my point is that some might say that, hey, that's prime real estate, but is it really? Because you have to go through so much extra. Like we talk about Chippy a lot and how initially that pipeline was supposed to be in the river. So anytime you're right by that river, the amount of work and money that needs to go into a project becomes even more, because the amount of hoops you have to go through, which is reasonable because we want to have clean water. We want to have a good Hudson River.
Yes. We could have had more water from the Hudson River if the desalination plant wasn't protested, the one in West Haverstraw.
Well, we can't talk about we can talk about history, or we can talk about where we're going.
Yes, let's talk about where we're going.
Now, if you think that proposal should come back on and there should still be a desalination plant in West Haverstraw, then that conversation should be revisited at some point. I don't understand why we don't have tidal generators in the Hudson River.
What did you say? Tidal generators?
Tidal generators.
What's a tidal generator?
It generates electricity by the movement of the water.
Oh, I thought it was like how to buy like a domain name on GoDaddy.
I mean, that's your department.
No, tidal generator?
Yeah.
I've never heard that term before.
So look it up on your fancy IT with your AI.
All right. I don't have AI, all right? There's no AI going on.
He's got the AI.
It's
like a disease.
No,
he's got the
do not break the Tommy. Do not break the Tommy. Tidal generator.
There was a proposal to put a bank of these. I want to say it was off the coast of Stony Point in the Hudson, and I don't remember why it was not approved.
Okay.
But it is a clean energy way, to generate electricity. They have these in the East River. One of the hospitals down in Manhattan had set up this whole project just to power the hospital. And they're powering like X number by X number of city blocks now.
Yeah.
Off the East River, just moving in and out.
Interesting.
Right. So why some of these things don't happen, I don't know. I have a friend at the DEC. Maybe it was a DEC call. Maybe the sturgeon were going to be disrupted.
Sturgeon. I can't wait. I'm going to a town hall meeting next week.
Are you going to eat sturgeon?
No, but I want to join space. I decided I want to join space, Mike. You know why? Because
you can't eat them. So you're going to join them.
I want the inner scoop on these sturgeon. I want the inner scoop. I want to know, like, what's the communication going on, like, back and forth. How did they coordinate
How do you
this?
talk with the
If
fish?
you think about this, the sturgeon have power.
I mean, they have omega-3 fatty acids.
Yes, but we don't want to kill them, all right? We don't want to eat them, and we most certainly don't want a pipeline next to them at all. We found this out.
I mean, the fish are allowed to live and do their thing, and they have to understand that a number of them need to get eaten.
I heard that fish can move. Like, if there's a pipeline next to it, like, fish can move, like,
it's not
a little bit to the left or a little bit to the right.
It's about all of the other garbage that has been put in the river, and now everyone is reasonably afraid and scared that if we put anything by the river, something bad is going to happen.
Well,
because it's been done for over 100 years.
Well, you know about Holtec, right?
I do not know about Holtec.
Well, Holtec is dumping water from Indian Point into the Hudson River again soon. At least it's being green lighted right now.
I don't know if this is true, so we will need to do a little fact checking. But I was under the understanding that the water that was being dumped into the Hudson when the plant was running, that the issue was not that the water was irradiated, is that it was too hot. So if the water's being dumped into the river and it's completely clean and it is just the right temperature, then there really isn't a problem.
Well, if it's going to raise, let's go by just, just temperature and everything. I mean, you think globally about climate, reportedly, you raise it by 1 degree Celsius and it causes the water levels to rise and so on.
Well,
now that's a different,
that was different. It's a different issue. The thing that was happening with Indian Point was that the hot water coming out that they were using as a coolant was generating algae blooms, which was killing the ecosystem of the surrounding area of the river.
Right.
So again, if the water is that they are trying to put in the river is clean, not irradiated,
well, that's the question,
and the same temperature as the Hudson River as it is now, have at it as long as it's clean.
Right. Well, Holtec basically, they were in a meeting on October 3rd. No, I'm sorry. It was in September, the end of September. And, there's basically, it's been in the news a little bit more. You can check out more at rocklandsnews.com. But basically, they're going to be dumping water into the Hudson. I don't know if it's irradiated, and this is what I'm trying to find on the story, whether the water that's being dumped into the river is irradiated. Now, as a net aggregate, if you will, I'm going to get kind of like scientifically nerdish, right? Billions of gallons, trillions. I don't even know what the amount in the Hudson River in a particular area, and then a few 100,000 gallons from Holtec into the Hudson River. So does it raise the temperature that much? Or if there's radiation in it, how does it affect the rest of the river?
It does not matter about the speculative details that we're talking about,
right?
Because the question is, did someone investigate this? Because we are watching on 9W a project that was done. It wasn't investigated. And oh my God, the amount of problems it has caused because nobody thought it through. So the question is,
Mike Lawler, he said that New York State dropped the ball.
So are they dropping the ball on this?
It's a good question.
I would like to see the president of Holtec drink a glass of this water. It needs to be that kind of clean. It should be that kind of clean.
That's a movie reference. That's a movie reference. Was that Aaron Brockovich?
I couldn't even tell you, but wherever it came from, we should have more CEOs have to drink the water that they plan on dumping.
Dude, it was. I just remembered it was an Aaron Brockovich. So did you ever watch the movie?
Probably a long time ago, but sometimes I think about 202 cannabis.
Yeah. Well, we all because by golly, I just don't know about this cannabis thing. All right. So in Aaron Brockovich, there's this part where, and they're negotiating because there's a certain town that got contaminated by a local large manufacturing plant. Okay.
As happens, say, across the river.
And it caused cancer. I mean, it's actually based on a true story. Now, caused cancer amongst the residents, children. Horrible. Okay. So Erin finds a thread and she keeps on pulling on it, like, what's going on here, right? And at one point, she had the lawyers for that company sit down, and she had 3 glasses of water in front of them, right? And they're all drinking and everything, and they're like, oh, we're gonna settle for like $150,000 or something like that. And then Erin was like, basically, she's like, yeah, it's gonna go up from there. And by the way, the water from that plant, you're drinking it right now. And one person went, so it kind of like changed the bit of the argument, but it's like whatever.
Well, they should put their water where their mouth is. Literally. Because if you want to put stuff in the river, and it's clean.
If it's clean, yeah, most definitely. Most definitely, man. So we had
don't dump your garbage in the river.
Do not dump it. We have more news. I just realized we didn't talk about all the news. Do you want to read a few things? I got some things.
Well, you were still doing Nanuet. I'll do whatever town you got next on the list.
All right. So we left off the No Kings protest in Nanuet. 3,000 demonstrators gathered peacefully on Route 59 and Middletown Road.
Were they clean?
Yeah. Yeah.
If you're going to protest.
Tom Chapin that showed up, that was pretty chill.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So look, and obviously, people got on my case about the post I put on Facebook on my personal page, people. A pledge pin. All right. And I was making fun of it just because of the name. So listen, if anybody takes umbrage with it, it's fine. I don't make any apologies. I make light jokes, and I do not bat 1,000, nor should I. None of us should, because we're human beings just trying to get through and see what's going on. And hopefully we're objective. We crack
That's the question.
So here's
what's
something.
Going on.
All right. Well, here's something that is really cool that happened. Haverin in Muncie, Haverin of Rockland I didn't say that right. I'm sorry. Haverin of Rockland successfully located and rescued 6 hikers, Mike.
Oh.
Including 5 children aged 9 to 17 who became lost in the wooded trails near Muncie recently. The group, visiting from the 5 towns, initially sought map directions, but soon became disoriented as night fell and the temperatures dropped. And Haverin's search and rescue teams found them after more than 3 hours, bringing them to safety just before 10 p.m. All individuals were unharmed.
So, folks, make sure you have a compass and a map and know how to read them if you're going to go hiking in Harriman.
Dig it, brother. All right. I'll do one more, and then I'll flip it over to you. We got
sure.
All right. Grand jury term. Actually, I'm going to do 2 more because I wanted to mention about HIV Prevention Week.
Okay.
Grand jury term ends with 13 indictments in Rockland. Rockland County District Attorney Thomas Walsh announced the conclusion of the 10th grand jury term of 2025. Running from September 18th to October 15th, the jury returned 13 indictments covering serious crimes. And I'm not going to read the names of those that were indicted, but kidnapping, sexual assault, attempted murder, and fraud. DA Walsh praised the jury's diligence, reminding the public.
Such a good day, Tom.
Well, yeah, because I wasn't indicted, so that's a good day.
We were having a good day until you brought the negative news.
Well,
keep going.
I'm
reporting
the news. We do, Rockland's news.
Yeah.
Reminding and objective too, by the way. Aiming for objectivity, By the way, I want to give a shout out to a new publication. We're entering into a crowded playing field, ladies and gentlemen. We got Rockland News, Rockland County Biz Journal, RocklandsPost.com. I saw that this week. Plus, you got the Muncie Scoop. You got Rockland's Report. It's a big colostomy of news, ladies and gentlemen.
Interesting choice of words.
Yes.
So, continue.
All right. The Rockland County Department of Health is participating in statewide PrEP Aware Week. That's PrEP. That is the drug prevention campaign for HIV. You do not want to get the high five, ladies and gentlemen. I can't say, trust me, I know, but I've heard things. I have heard things. Like, for instance, there's that song. Was it the Mighty Mighty Boss Tones?
I don't know what you're talking
about. Anyway, it's a daily pill or injection proven 99% effective when used correctly. Local clinics, including the county sexual health clinic, offer access and financial support options to increase availability to at-risk individuals. And I'm going to say this, Mike. All right.
What are you saying, Tom?
You know I have no desire of political aspiration. I don't give a darn hoot.
You don't want to be president someday?
Now, I'm going to say this, all right? And this might be a shocker to nobody, okay? But I took chances in my 20s and 30s, maybe my 40s too. Not much, kind of like law of diminishing returns. But let's just say, all right, that I definitely had to get tested every once in a while.
Okay.
And that's the gosh darn honest truth. I fully am thankful that Yeager Health Center, located in Pomona, New York, provided free services because I didn't have 2 dimes to rub together, my brother.
Because you were rubbing something else together.
So, for those of you that are listening, okay, definitely check out the campaign that the Rockland County Health Department. It's called PREP. It's a daily pill or injection proven 99% effective when used correctly. And if you need more information about this, go to the Rockland County government's website and look for the Department of Health. There's a recent press release that was put out there. And special thanks, as always, to County Executive Day for looking out for the health and well-being of all our residents in Rockland County.
Thank you, Ed Day.
Yeah. Want to do the next one, brother?
Sure. What do we got?
Well, you said
where are we moving to?
Well, you said that you
Congress.
Yes, and
winning Take 5 tickets sold in Congress. Someone won. A lucky Take 5 lottery player won nearly $5,900.
That's right.
With a ticket purchased at Congress Little Food Market on Route 303. The prize was one of 2 winning tickets from the October 17th evening drawing. Winners have 1 year to claim their prize. Take 5 drawings occur daily at 2:30 and 10:30 p.m.
Fabulous.
We do not advocate for gambling.
Yes, and also if
we do love it, we do love a good winner story.
Yes, and just an FYI, there is a hotline if you have a gambling addiction problem, you can call this hotline, and you can look at that on the lottery website.
It's almost Halloween, which means it's almost your birthday.
Thank you very much.
And as you may or may not know, Havistraw likes to hold Halloween festivals. The annual Havistraw Halloween Festival will return October 25th. That is this Saturday. North Rockland families are invited to the annual Halloween Festival at Bowline Park in Havistraw on Saturday, October 25th from noon to 4. Children under 12 can enjoy hay rides, a haunted house, costume contest, music, food, and goodie bags. The rain date is set for Sunday, October 26th, and the event is open to North Rockland residents only.
That's
Havistraw
right.
and Stony Point people. Tell us about Nyack.
There's also another Halloween parade that's happening, and it's returning with the Rocky Horror Picture Show. So Nyack's Halloween parade kicks off on October 25th with family-friendly fun, cash prize costume contest, pumpkin painting. Every time I see like the PV, I was like, a pledge pin, Animal House, pumpkin painting, and the Monster Mash dance party. The evening will close with a 50th anniversary screening of the Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Now, the first time I ever saw the Rocky Horror Picture Show was actually in Nyack.
Oh, yeah?
When it was the Nyack Movie Theater.
Dude.
I mean, that just means I'm old. But I did get my first experience with the Rocky Horror. It was in Nyack.
That's amazing. I'm interested in that. October 25th. And finally, we have Rockland Fashion Week, and we had Hope Wade as our guest today. If you're just tuning in now, head back on the live stream, and we'll also have this podcast available on Apple Podcast as well as Spotify. But Hope Wade was on. Mike, why don't you read that one while I hit up?
Hope did not address this. She's going to have 12 designers, some musical acts, student involvement from Clarkstown North. She did say that. Local talent, and there's a launch party at Hotel Nyack.
Yeah.
And as we mentioned before, the tickets are at rocklandfashionweek.com.
That's right.
Is that all the news that's fit to print for today? Because I'm
pretty
seeing
much,
our awesome sponsor list.
I know.
We love our sponsors.
Yeah. So, you want to stay on the air for a little bit longer, or you want to hop off?
Is there something you want to address? Do we want to talk about our Mike Lawler conversation some more? Do we want to talk about hope and fashion? Because you and I are so fashionable.
Oh, yeah. Mike's wearing a New York Renaissance Fair shirt from this year.
From this year, I just got it.
Excellent.
Got
And
my participation T-shirt.
And I'm totally dressed in like like a suit and stuff, like with like
his bedroom suit.
Yeah, seriously,
which is better than his birthday.
Oh, you know what? I'll tell you about something that happened over the weekend. So Sunday, and my wife Jessica, she's the director of the Nanuet Library, and she really works. She works so hard over there to make everybody happy. Like not just like the people that use the library, but the people the staff of the library. Just wonderful. I have to say, she's amazing. So she was one of the key organizers for Sunday's Libraries of Rockland County first annual 5K run over at Rockland Lake.
I never fault people for wanting to run. I just don't understand it.
Neither do I. No, I ran it. And
you did it all for the glory of love of your wife?
No. Oh, I mean, a little bit, yeah. But I wanted to test myself. I have this bad habit of testing myself, as we said about when I went to Jaeger Health Center. No, so I'm 49. I'm going to turn 50 in about a week and a half. Now, and I'm born on Halloween, of all things. It's a strange paradigm being born on Halloween, especially since my mom was and is a devout Christian. And it's like she had like this direct cell phone line with God as I was waking up in the morning every day. And she's like, make sure you do this, do that, and the other. She is a great mom. Now, it's interesting testing oneself, and I read this thing from Carlos Castaneda, the Prisma Gems, the teachings of Don Juan. And one of the things he says is like, that moment at the end of one's life of clarity and just crazy energy and then no energy. And like, just it all comes together. That moment of clarity is sufficient, So I think it's in order to continually reach that place, I think it's important to test oneself. Now I'm 49 years old, and quite frankly, and I've bicycled all my life, and so I kept in, I'll say, decent shape. But the last 5 years, especially since COVID, I've kind of like trailed off on that. 2 months ago, I went back to the gym. Me and my friend Keith were hitting New York Sports Club almost every week. And it's made me feel more physically fit. So I'm like, all right, let me try this 5K run. And I'll tell you this. I did pretty good for the 5K run itself. I had a pretty decent time for my age category, 40 to 49. Okay. I couldn't move on Monday morning.
Oh, yes. Because it's not that your old body can't do it.
Right.
It's that it takes a lot longer to
recover. Yes. And today is really the first day where I don't feel it in my legs and arms. And I mean, my energy was pretty, I guess, decent, which I'm happy about. But yeah, maybe I'll train a little bit better next time.
Well, and again, it's the more you do it, the less recovery time in theory. But this whole exploration into old age that we all have to go through.
We all have to. Well, if we're lucky.
Sometimes you're like, is it going to go back to the way it was? Mm-hmm. Or am I just going to crick and crack and be in pain all the time? Now, I do know that we have some cool sponsors who can help you.
That's true.
Why don't you tell us about some of those sponsors?
Are you talking about 202 Cannabis or Kobe Sushi?
Those are both really great ones for the heart and mind. But I was thinking more about Ivy Rehab.
Oh, that's true. Yes.
North Rockland Chiro.
North Rockland Chiropractic. Dr. Anna Marie.
Yes.
She's my chiropractor.
Right.
Yeah, so fantastic. Okay. So we have, I could talk about all of them, but let's talk about, we'll go in the order in which you communicated that to me. So Ivy Rehab Physical Therapy, Dr. Nicholas Kirkpatrick, and he has been on the show several times to talk about health and awareness. And, I have a torn ACL in my left knee.
Ouch.
Yeah, I've had it since I was 19. I really should have gotten surgery, but I opted against it because, quite frankly, financial considerations back then. But, turning 50, it's time to start thinking about finally getting that surgery because I don't want that.
You lose your mobility, you lose your life.
That would be accurate. My grandfather said that the fifth sense is mobility. He really did. So that definitely has to happen. So Ivy Rehab Physical Therapy, they can help you after you get the surgery to train your leg or train your joints or train your muscles to work the way that they did before. So it's like going back to the gym.
Wow.
Yeah. So a good place. West Haverstraw, New York. You can visit them. Just do a Google search for Ivy Rehab Physical Therapy in West Haverstraw, New York. And then you mentioned, Dr. Anna Marie.
Yeah, you're a chiropractor.
Yeah, she's fantastic. So I need to get adjusted quickly during the day because I just have so much going on. So what I do is, I'll head over and I actually walk over there. I walk over there specifically because I want to get the mobility going. Right.
Okay.
Then I get over there and she adjusts me in 15 minutes. Good too.
Wow.
Like I've been to, I have Dr. Bernadette Dunn. She's an amazing chiropractor. I go to her once in a while. That's, just laying there, maybe like a half hour.
It's more like your spa day.
Correct. Now, Dr. Anna Marie, all right, and the place is beautiful, what Dr. Anna Marie has. But I walk in and I was like, help me.
She's like the emergency room.
She's like, come on, she gets me adjusted. And I'm one person. I know people don't like the whole, cracking and popping of the spine and everything like that. I leave that place, I feel like a new man.
All right.
Yeah.
You heard it here first, or second, or how many times have you said that?
Oh, I endorse her all the time. There's some great chiropractors. You got Dr. Chrissy Peterson, located in New City, New York, New Life Family Chiropractic. Okay. So great chiropractors in New York. That's a good question. Well, she was in. I don't know. I should ask her. I see her and Barry on Thursdays. Yeah. All right. So and then mention our other sponsors.
And then you go to 202 Cannabis because you want to relax. And then
what? I don't know what you're talking about.
And then there's all of the places you can eat after you go to 202 Cannabis. Tell us about our restaurants.
Kobe Sushi. Yeah. Kobe's the real deal, man. I've been there like about a dozen times now.
And how many times did you go there without there being live music?
None.
I mean, and there you go, folks.
So no, there was one. No, they had like a 12th anniversary. Like they had a party.
Okay.
It was by invite only. Yeah, they have like a guest list and everything.
The VIP of sushi.
I'm telling you, man. Listen, I see in the next few years this place is going to have a red carpet and like ribbons on the side to get into this place. I'm dead serious.
Well,
I don't own it at all. I'm just saying.
Mark your calendars. So when that happens, we're going to come back and Tom's going to say, I told you when. So who's next on the list? Kobe Sushi.
And just as awesome in terms of culinary skills.
Yeah.
Whole Shot Bagels.
Oh, God. Those guys are amazing.
Cleven and Victoria. And I go there, especially when there's an event in Haverstraw, like, for instance, holidays in Haverstraw or the street fair. I go there and my favorite is egg and cheese, all right, with lox on a whole wheat wrap, and they do it perfectly.
I'm sobo on an egg bagel.
You do sobo
with salt, pepper, and a hot sauce.
Oh yeah,
that's the way. You get a nice spicy in the morning.
Yeah,
get you going.
Gotta feel that.
Love those Whole Shot Bagel folk. Anyway, so
there's also some other food on here, I believe.
Acapulco.
Yes.
They have you guys are still doing an open mic jam, right?
Actually, we are going to switch it to something a little bit more.
Oh, more music?
We're doing live music on Saturday night in November.
Saturday nights in November.
Yeah. No, just one.
Which one?
The Saturday after Thanksgiving. I've been speaking with Juan, and we're gonna have a back line there, and we'll have a few opening bands. Should be pretty chill.
So live music, the Saturday after Thanksgiving, Fiesta Acapulco.
Yeah, and also. Our friends Electric Beef, who were at Rockland Music Fest. Yep, I was just texting them this morning, and it turns out that they're going to be doing an Ozzy tribute next Thursday. And I'm going to give you the date for this because our tribute band is going to be there. Hang on one moment. Okay, mark your calendars for Thursday, October 30th at Casa del Sol.
Oh,
the world famous Casa Jam is going to hold a Black Sabbath tribute, and Tito and the dudes from Electric Beef are going to be there. And on top of that, the band's BS Tribute will also be there.
Oh.
Yeah. They recently played over at Round Table Brewery. They played 3 songs, The Age of Reason, See You on the Other Side, and of course, Generals Gathered in Their Masses. Yeah.
So
War Pigs.
If you want to hear more of that,
mm-hmm.
go down to Casa del Sol and join the Ozzy Tribute.
That will be on Thursday, October 30th. And we got a few
Casa
more.
Del Sol.
Yeah, Casa del Sol.
Restaurants. Banchetto Restaurant.
Banchetto Restaurant.
Stony Point Pancake Factory.
Mm-hmm.
Is that the end of our list?
Yeah, but we have to thank all of our sponsors. And I think I'm going to do the outro music now.
Do the outro music.
Let me just go get
that.
Read
the list.
Oh, one of my friends has a birthday today. I got to wish her happy birthday. Media.
We're spinning out of control, folks. We're going everywhere.
Let's see if this is the right one. Hopefully this is the lower.
It's loud.
That's the one, I think. Open. And okay, there we go.
All right, Tommy.
Mike, the end of the show.
It's the end of the show.
Not
the
awkward.
house is falling down.
Ah!
Things are getting knocked down.
Ah!
But we've had 2 good interviews.
Yes, we have, with Mike Lawler and Hope Wade.
Go see the shows. Enjoy music. Be kind to one another. Be good citizens.
Absolutely. And we want to thank our sponsors for AM Rockland's News, Yabu Fence Company, Dana Pest Control, Easy Temp, Kobe Sushi, 202 Cannabis, Susan Bova, Coldwell Banker Realty, Lauren Molino Muller, Howard Hanna Rand Realty, Whole Shop Bagels, 99 Signs, RocklandWorks.org. Get a job, people. Rockland Music Fest, Inc. Fiesta Acapulco, FZ Perfection, Clean Space Maintenance Management Company, Ivy Rehab Physical Therapy in West Haverstraw, New York, 99 Signs, St. Thomas Aquinas College, Sparkling Clean Homes, 845-641-3223 to get your house clean. Banchetto Restaurant, North Rockland, Cairo, Stony Point Pancake Factory. Take care for now.
Have a good day.